Well, here we are. We're on the east coast of the Adirondacks. We're not far from Lake Champlain, a few miles in that direction. The high peaks of the Adirondacks, just a couple of miles in that direction. And that's Sally's house and Sally's studio. Well, not really, because see, as an environmental artist, Sally's studio is the out of doors. So come on in, I'll introduce you to her, and then we're gonna go play in the snow and make things out of ice. Whew, it's nippy. Get a nice wood stove going here and get. Hi, Sally. How are
Derek.
you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Come on in.
We're gonna play today, right?
Yes. Yes.
Oh boy.
Come on in.
Ooh, nice and warm in here.
Good.
As a young girl, Sally liked to draw, and of course, she drew horses. Most little girls do. But then she moved on to doing elaborate and complicated landscapes. Next, she became an illustrator, and then, as an adult, launched a whole new career as an environmental artist. Before going totally organic and revealing all kinds of magical environmental creations, Sally took me into her painting studio to show me some of her earlier works.
Beautiful. A book illustration?
Yes, this was from a book called Grandfather Four Winds and Rising Moon.
Grandfather Four Wind, I can see that, and Rising Moon. Children's book.
Yes.
You get the text of the book and then do the illustrating? How does that work?
Yes, the text really drives the story of the illustrations.
And do you start with a sketch? Do you sketch it out in pencil?
Yes, it's a long process where I'm working with the art director of the project.
And you love to hide things in your paintings, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Show me where the bears are.
There are some bears hidden in the branches here.
And I see one walking across the
Yes,
snowfield over here.
Yep.
That's just amazing. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And underneath here we have an example of your watercolor period.
Yes, yes. This was from a trip that I took in New Zealand.
Magnificent.
Thank you. And
Now you didn't paint this in New Zealand.
no, I do sketches in the field.
And the story here is?
The story is this was done on the river in Kaitoke Park, where they filmed the Rivendell section in the Lord of the Rings. And I love the way the light was bouncing off of the water and into the foliage.
And again, some more hidden things. What am I seeing over here?
That's a Maori symbol for water, water deity.
Where? Point it out.
Right in here. And then in here, you'll see lots of spirals. Maori people use the spirals to denote the energy of the water spirits.
You're big on spirals.
Yeah.
It's a theme all the way through.
It is.
And this bird, the kingfisher coming through, gives this still life incredible motion.
Well, thank you.
Check this out. Here, I'm going to give you a little room up there. Okay, go ahead.
This is the fire dragon.
It's dazzling. It's neon. I mean, is there a light underneath it? It's amazing. You do illustrations that have become puzzles.
This was something that I pioneered. It was actually very successful. The puzzle is in the shape. So they die cut around this. It's not a rectangular puzzle.
So you can't just start putting this puzzle together by looking for the straight edges
No,
or the corners.
You can look for the edges, but
Yeah.
no straight edges.
Okay, so this is a little more difficult.
Yeah.
But you just didn't do one dragon.
No, there's almost 100 other dragons in here. And
2, 3, I'll be just a moment. 4. I see evil spirits, I see good spirits, I see the knights coming.
The knights riding into the castle and laying siege to the castle.
The drawbridge going up or maybe down.
Yeah.
The orb that the dragon is holding is like a white crystal, just glowing, but it's just the paper.
It is the paper, yeah.
That's not white paint or anything.
No.
Then answer me this. Why is that globe brighter than the surrounding white that is also the paper?
Magic.
Magic, yeah. When it comes to dragons. You know, the other thing that really amazes me, Sally, is no formal art lessons here. This is just you from a kid on up. I'm amazed. I'm just amazed.
Thank you.
But folks, you haven't seen anything yet.
Sally's work was sought after by book publishers, jigsaw puzzle companies, gift card producers, calendar makers, and art dealers from around the world. And her talents provided her with a very good living, until one day she hit a wall. It seems that her inspiration had abandoned her, so she sought professional help through an art coach who asked her a question that would change Sally's life.
What is it that you've always wanted to do, that you've been afraid to do, that you're afraid to try? What is the thing that's really driving you that you don't give yourself permission to do? And it was instant. It was right there. And I said, I want to work out in nature. I want to with nature. I want to be creating something in nature, with nature, not looking at it. I want to be in it. The first thing I did was an ice sculpture, and I was there for 5 or 6 hours on the lake working with ice. Completely loved it, and that was it. I didn't look back.
So where then do you get your inspiration for the fairy houses that you build?
Oh.
From the fairies?
From the fairies, absolutely. The fairies do talk to me. It's not something that I generally talk about too much because most people think, oh, you know, right, she talks to fairies. I wouldn't say that I see them. Some people do, but I get promptings is maybe a good word. It feels like an intuition. It feels like, maybe I should go over here. And that's what starts the process. I'll be out spotting a location or looking for materials, gathering materials, and I'll get a nudge. And it's the fairies nudging me. And I think we've all experienced that. You know, if you spend any time in the woods at all, you know what that feels like. It's like, ooh, a little spark of something, you know, gets your attention. And so if you follow it, something neat will happen. This is a little fairy house that I've made. The felted roof is all made with a technique called needle felting. So I wanted to make a little house that had a lot of whimsy and color in it. And there is a little light that's inside that I just installed that turns on. And the door does open. This one is a window for a fairy house that's sort of a stained glass window effect. It's done with monarch butterfly wings from butterflies that I found on the side of the road that had been killed by cars.
So you don't trap these are natural?
No, I collect the dead ones and save them. But I thought that was kind of fun. I would love to see what it looks like from the inside with the light coming through the wings.
Well, fairies are not very good housekeepers. I've heard.
They're busy. They're busy out taking care of other things. Housekeeping is not high on their priority list.
And Sally stays busy too, for along many a path and streamside throughout the Adirondacks can be found Sally's fairy houses, because some of her creations, built on site using whatever nature provides, are left to be found and lived in.
this is the simplest stuff. I mean, this artwork is so anybody can pick up some leaves and twigs and pine cones and arrange them and just enjoy the patterns that are created. Anybody can do this work, and I really want to encourage people to try it, because it's a new way of interacting with nature, as opposed to just looking at the vistas or fishing and having athletics. This is a little bit different, because you're having to contemplate the textures and the shapes and the patterns, and then you work with that. And it's a new experience, a new way to sort of appreciate the outdoors.
Sally's artwork is living proof that you should always keep your eyes open as you're hiking the Adirondacks, because around every bend of every trail, you never know what you might find. Me? I'm out of here. Sally gave me some homework. Okay, I guess I start with the wing and work toward the flame-breathing face, and then back up here. I can